Okay, good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. This is Simon with toughtrader.com and Trade and Perform Coaching. So I am running a little slow this morning. So two things. First of all, I do not have the Russell chart ready. I apologize. I had my hands full of babies late yesterday, and I just simply did not get to the chart. It is in an uptrend. I'm going to cover it this morning and give you the key areas, but I do not have a white zone in this area. I've been working on it. Number two, everyone can hear me? I'll wait to give this in just a second. You cannot see the screen yet, so let's fix that. Here we go. There we go. Guys in the room, can everyone see that clearly now? Are we good? Okay, I'm going to assume we're okay and that all the sound and everything is working well. I'm going to check my Skype real quick. Let's see. Okay, so rolling on. 1 second here. Let's get the quick disclaimer out of the way. Past performance is not indicative of future results. This is for educational purposes only. I am sharing my trade plan with you in hopes that it'll make you a better trader. So, number one thing that I have to stress this morning, right out of the gate, volatility will be extremely high. The Russell's pushing, as we approach, Russell's pushing Globex highs as we speak. ES is pushing towards Globex high as we speak. NQ is a good distance away from its Globex high, but it was running 30-point rotations yesterday and could easily get back to 63, 67 by the open or shortly after the open. Okay, number one thing on the radar today is going to be the vote on the tax bill, right? You can see that we've had just massive volatility in almost all trading periods. Let me pull this up really quick here. Hold on 1 second here. There we go. Wonder if I can get this all the way over. There we go. So if you look overnight, let's pop in where Globex low and Globex high came in, and we'll work our way from there. So on NQ, we'll start there. Okay. The first thing I want to point out to my traders, right? What looks very tiny on this chart, right? This is massive rotations up and down, right? This is a blender. It is very hard for most traders who do not have a good tolerance for risk, right, to manage this, right? If you're a small account and you're trying to manage that with a small stop, it becomes almost impossible, right? This is from a swing high of 63.50 to a swing low all the way down to 63.24, right? Not quite 30 points, but pretty damn close. That's a $600 contract swing in either direction, right? Now, of course, if you can play the edges, that's beautiful, right? Just the important part to realize is 30-point rotations are the call of the day. The rotation off the low is 63.24 all the way up to 63.71, almost a full 60-point rotation up, right? From 63.77 all the way down to 63.48. That is almost, again, a full 30-point, that is a 30-point rotation down, right? You should be keen on NQ on 30-point rotations. If you're trying to trade in between and you're not an expert at doing it and you're trying to do it with tight stops, it's going to be very, very challenging. Also, the speed and pace at which you have to make a decision has increased, right? This is when I want to step back. So I want to explain to everyone why I'm going slower in all markets right now, okay? My ability to control my environment has had a major kink thrown into it. The kink is we're all waiting, all of us are waiting on the vote in the Senate, right? Thanks. Thank you. Randy's pointing out that CL had an impulse move up on the open, which is risk-on environment, right? So it's important to realize this, right? You are at the hands of one piece of news coming out and having an ES, a 10 to 20-point move, and in NQ having a 30 to 60-point move on an impulse bar in under 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, that is the risk. You cannot, there's no way to mitigate that, right? You have no control over when it's going to come out. And even a simple rumor can drive you to your stop, right? So for traders who have a difficult time controlling themselves, like you take a quick stop, then you click again, take a quick stop and click again, so on and so forth, my suggestion is take a deep breath, slow down. This tax thing will pass, and it'll go right back to trading like normal, right? Across the board. We can have expanded ranges and still have it trade normally. Like, for example, right, when you look at the overnight zone, I said that I expected 63.15 to 63.04, right? I put why is the white zone so wide? Number one question. Well, I can answer that question. It's so wide because volatility is expanded, and I don't want to get stopped out in this zone if I'm going to take the long. If you look, Globex low, so that was a fat rotation down, right? It came all the way down. I think 63.10 is exactly our low. Let's see. 63.11 and a quarter. Okay, so this is Globex low right here. Okay, the reason why that zone has been adjusted to be so wide, right? It's not that wide. It's 10 points. I normally put that in there, but I've been narrowing them. It's because I couldn't tell whether it was going to come off from here, 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 or here at the gap fill. I couldn't tell which one it was going to be, right? So I wanted to make sure that if we got down here while I was trading, this came in overnight, I didn't get it, that I got the trade. And I also wanted to adjust the trade size to make sure that I got the long. Now, if I want to show you something about that 63.10 because we can learn a lot about the reversals from that area so that you can see how to get into the trade if you need to, right, from alternative methods. So I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to spend less time saying this is what I expect because I have no idea what to expect today, right? I have an event that I have no control over, nor do I understand the response, right? Yesterday kind of looked like a blow off top to me, if you ask me, right? But we're going to have some parameters met before we can verify that. And one of those, okay, before I leave that point, okay, on ES, let me get to this chart. The event that has to occur to have that happen on my TPO, and I wrote this in the notes to members last night, I've got to get below and hold below, right, 2641. I want everyone to write down this notes. We are not short, right? Now, we may be short from up here, but we are not breaking down unless we get below these 2 points, period, end of sentence, right? Unless we consolidate underneath, there's no downside here. Next, we have a neighborhood that's been untested during the RTH. Right in there. That's not a specific location, and it's wide, right? 2627 to 2621.75. Specifically, we have these points of control, right? But within this area, I would expect, just like this neighborhood over here helped us out here, I expect this neighborhood to help us catch us from down here. Now, if we get underneath here, this was very poorly auctioned on this day. It's not a very fat point of control. There's some areas down here that need to get repaired in the profile, right about to here, right, that need to get repaired beyond this point. This part, see how we repaired this part right here, see that? And then we chose not to come down to the point of control, but now this area needs to get fixed down here as well, just how it is. There's really nothing to fix over here. There's just an NVPOC and a TPO point of control that are naked. I obviously expect an attempted response out of 2601 should we get there, right? So to be clear, right, we've got to get underneath 2641, okay? And then if I look above, can't control it from there. I look above, there's nothing above, right? There's nothing to stop me. So all I'm gauging, right, is whether we're going to fail. So we can use some more math on that, right? Yesterday, I think we had the biggest up day of the year. I might be wrong on that. But from a gap, I think we had the biggest update. The range had expanded significantly, 34 to 58. Up 20 from the open would have put you at 54. Okay. Now, normally, if we were not at a high, I would simply have shorted 20 to 25 up, half size, double stop. That's my normal plan when I get above 20. Again, I can't control the environment. I'm not comfortable putting on I trade pretty good size. I'm not comfortable just taking the risk, knowing that a piece of, so when everyone's asking me, I want to give this feedback. When everyone's asking me, I trade probably more leverage than most people would recommend, right? So I've got to be really comfortable and really confident that my call is correct. If I'm not going to do anything in that area, right? So by the same token, just like we had to hold below 26.41 out of the gate, in order to move freely, we have to get above 26.52. Now, what do our trading rules say? We are opening up inside prior day's value. So what do we expect when we open inside prior day's value? Put this in your notes. Open auction, chop. That's what we expect over an increased range because the volatility has increased. So the range and the speed have increased. I expect chop inside this area, meaning I'm looking for open auction, not open drive. And then I expect the market to move freely above here. And I'm expecting the market to move relatively freely below here. On the downside, I'd look for attempts at support in this general area. Again, members, y'all have the chart, right? And if we get below, I then expect this to act as resistance. This is a big swing down from when we're trading, right? 46, 20 down gets us into 26. Again, I expect support. 30 down gets us, let's see, 30, 46, 16, gets us right into this neighborhood right here. I'm looking to be a responsive buyer with half my normal size and double my stop because I want to survive. Now, if we traded NQ, let's do that for NQ really quick so everyone can see where we are on NQ. Okay, on NQ, I want to be clear on what the roadmap looks like, what the topography that we're dealing with looks like. We are currently trading at 63.38. That puts us up here. This is, notice that the point of control and the TPO point of control and the volume point of control are separated by a good 11 points. I expect this area to get some attempt at responsive selling between here and here, right? Just like I expected responsive buying down in this neighborhood. We had the TPO, the volume point of control, right? And we had the TPO. What you'll notice is we still got a drop behind. This was Globex low right here. That is Globex low. So when just past the volume point of control to the TPO point of control, did not close the gap, right? So that tells you what's more important, the gap fill or the TPO. The gap fill, the TPO, and the volume point of control were more important. It got defended as we would expect it to be, right? So in order to come back and retest this area, what has to happen? We have to get above 63.70. Is it doable? Absolutely. If we start to, I'm going to put in my notes, if we start to consolidate above 63.71 and can't get back below, my goal would be 64.19 up above. Why? It's been untested. There's a clean volume point of control. There's a clear TPO point of control. I would expect the market to make a move. So to reiterate, chop, chop, support, chop through here, right? And we probably have a pretty free auctioning between here because the volume's been, it's been just easy to run between these 2 points, right? I don't expect much of a response from 63.38 one way or the other. It's already been tested. There's nothing here. And then if we really get ugly, I expect some type of attempt to hold the very bottom of this value area. If we get behind, these are TPO points of control back here. I'm going to go to the left just so in case it really gets hairy. And you can see these are, there we go, clean 62.91, already almost tested during the regular day session. The one that really will provide support, and I'm definitely ready to put on a ton of risk and just sit there and wait, 62.65, 62.60 area. Put that in your notes. I am looking for responsive buyers there. That puts us down from where we're trading right now, 63.41, right? 62.41 would be 100 down from where we're trading right now. It would be approximately 120 from where we closed last night, right? And it is at an extreme. There is a poorly auctioned area there. This is, if we get back here, this is not an automatic area for me. I'm going to have to see a reversal pattern in the chart in order to take it down in this neighborhood. I really would like to see 62.65 to 62.60 hold. Realize down 100 you start getting 20 and 30 point bars. So it could quite easily simply get to this area, whip down, close back up within the hour, and come back up. This is also, when you go back and look to the left, that is a clean bottom of balance area. See how we kept responding? That was prior to breaking out. 62.56 was the resistance area. See how we couldn't get above it? So when you look over to the right at that 62.56, see how it got backside tested, right? Again, 62.56 was the support. See how we dipped into 62.30, still closed, and then gapped away from that? So that whole area, right? That whole area becomes very, very important, right? And would be, so this 62.50, so again, where can I show you this? With that in mind, I expect that this acts as our support. I'm quite aware that we could dip in behind here, test this area, trap back above, and then push back in, right? So I'm widening the map of what I think is acceptable because the volatility and the ranges are expanding as well. And I want to be out on the edges where it's easier to catch people who are trapped. The last thing you're asking is, where does the market want to go, right? The market always travels the easiest path. This morning for NQ, the easiest path against, we're opening at 63.40. The easiest path from here is down, not up. Just like when we opened up underneath here, the easiest path was down. Why? Because you had, when we opened here, you had all these trap buyers trapped, right? We trap, shifted down, long liquidation. This is what happens when you don't shake anybody out. You end up with long liquidation, right? So if you look at it, what's the easiest path? From above here, if we get above 62.71, it'll take a lot of energy, but the range is appropriate, right? If we do 60 points from where we're trading right now, 63.40, right, brings up 6,400, and there's really nothing. We had this anomaly here that got repaired yesterday, almost, right? But if you look above that, there's really nothing all the way up to the opening print. And by the way, this volume point of control has already been tested, which makes it weaker. It would, and if we do 60 up from where we're trading now, that puts us at 6,400. And this is a valid top. There's a ton of excess up here. So start to look for reversal patterns or exhaustion up in this area. And it also makes sense because you've got a backside test of this uptrend area would come right at 6,400. It makes sense to look for exhaustion up here. I would be really pretty surprised if we could manage to get, if we got up here, if we could manage to get back below here, but anything's doable. 30-point ranges, you got to expand what you're looking at on either side of the range, okay? So to be clear for the members in the room, what I'm looking for, right? I'd like to see tick divergence. I'd like to see panic on the edges, right? And I'd like to see reversal bars before I step in. Let me talk about that really quick so we can see what it looked like overnight. I am not trading the first hour. I will let them all go nuts, and I will go pick up the pieces when it's done. I don't want to get run over on a Friday, right? Certainly the first 30 minutes they can have. So if I look at the overnight, let's adjust all this so I can actually see where my charts are. Here we go. You know what? This data is not filling in, so let's go look over here real quick. Hold on a sec. I'm not going to try and solve a technical issue right now. Let's look at it from a 5-minute point of view. Why isn't this changing? There we go. Okay, so what did the reversal pattern look like? Okay, we got down around 5 a.m. Here's your Globex, approximately your low. Remember, this is the white zone starting from about right here, right? Comes in, what did it do? First of all, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes of trapping people at the low, right? Now, notice this is my last seller. I'm now above my last seller, right? See the impulse move above? So if this was a regular trading session, look, we're going through long liquidation, right? This is early in the morning. We come down, we come down, we come down, we come down. I get above my last seller right here. See that? Okay. Remember, no trade is risk-free or without without help. So if we look at 63.35 and I go back to this chart, right? So I'm matching up what I see the market doing with what the chart is doing. So I want to come over here. I care about the RTH on this chart, right? Even though I'm trading Globex hours, and I look at this chart and I go 63.35. Okay. Erase all lines. So I got to think in multiple dimensions, right? I'm at 63.35 and I'm looking for a reversal. What is at? So when you look at that chart and you go, what's at 63.35? The answer, absolutely nothing. That's the old top of the value area high. That's all that is. There's nothing there where I can go, oh, I can base my trade there. Why? It's already been tested. It got tested yesterday, right? They're just trying to hold. There's nothing here. It's not even where the excess is at 63.29. There's just nothing there, right? Where's my support? Since this has already been tested, it brings this and value area low into play, right? So when I'm trying to get a reversal from here, that's fine. Just realize from the bigger time frame, you don't have much support. Even so, there's your impulse above your last seller, right? That's the first thing you got above your last seller. There's your 50-60 back. There's your move up to the upside, which eventually failed. First 50-60 back, paid you. Next, here's your impulse move above your last seller. Everyone sees that, right? Here's your push from your low to your swing high. There is your 50-60 back to the tick, made you wait. That's the largest up bar since we've started this downside move. There's your follow through to the upside. Notice if you took this bar, you had to tolerate, what was the range? 63.38, right? Roughly 63.33 all the way back to 63.20. How much is that? That is roughly $300, give or take. Let's see, this is 200. This is 200. Let's call it $250 per contract, right? So understand what a lot of people do is they'll take the long here, thinking they're going to get the move to the upside, and they will move their stop up, trying to avoid this situation right here, and they miss the larger trade back to the upside out of the white zone, which correlated with a test into the volume points of control overnight from going back to Wednesday, right? So what am I looking for during the day session? The exact same thing. I'm looking for the biggest up bar if we start rolling down, just like I'm looking for the biggest down bar through here when we rolled over yesterday. And then additionally yesterday, and I pointed this out in real time when we were in the market, right? And I said, from yesterday's open, where are we? December, there we go. There's the close of market. Here's the low yesterday. And what I said was, if we get behind the 62 retrace, it was a bad omen, but not until then, right? So if you look yesterday afternoon, that's from swing low, swing high, 62 retrace. That's lying right here, right? In Asia, we come behind the 62 retrace, right? Remember, we're more volatile than normal. So what did it do this time? That was a sign, but it didn't roll straight down. You had one or two ways to do it. See how it didn't get back above the 62? You could have simply closed when it works. So this is a great example of when it works and when it doesn't work, right? What it ended up doing was a classic pattern that we discuss in the room all the time, right? We came down, we got behind the 62 retrace. Danger, right? Traps back above, pushes to the 50-60, rejects. Who's it? Daniel. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Very common to run right behind the 62 retrace, shake all the shorts out because everyone was looking for the roll to the downside when we got behind the 62 retrace, right? Now, what does it look like when it works? Close behind the 62 retrace, backside test, long liquidate, backside test again, difficulty, right? So if we consolidate underneath that 63.44, there's a problem here off the open, right? So understand that was a failed rally when we got behind 63.32. What is changing the parameters? Tom, are the TradeStation feeds on level of ES accurate? Are you asking, Tom, can you clarify, please? Is the TradeStation feed accurate? Are you just talking about TOS? So I got to tell you, I hate TOS, guys. Everyone who knows that. My data, I'm not sure exactly how I would tell, like, where are you showing yesterday's high at? Because I show that as being accurate. I'm not having any data issue. I am having a data issue overnight, interestingly enough. So I don't know if the servers went down because my Globex low is not reflecting correctly on Sierra charts. So anyways, I don't know. I haven't noticed a problem other than I did on my Sierra charts. My data's off for sure on the overnight. The day session looks all right. I don't know if that answers the question, Tom. So at any rate, long story short, I'm pretty sure this is valid for yesterday's day session. I know this looks clean on the overnight. That was what it looked like at the low, right? So I'm giving this a wide berth today. Again, the area I'm most interested in is looking for a long right back down at the white zone. If we get underneath the white zone, I've already posted up, obviously posted up the zones. Let me close some of this because my computer will have enough of a hard time with getting this to work. Close workspace, right? I'm looking for these reversal patterns, guys. Keep that in mind. I'm looking for this. Even if I take a stop on a setup like this, my goal is to achieve something like this and some derivative of a 50-60 back for a push back to the upside, right? I don't want to catch a falling knife like this when there's news out there. I don't think there's that much glory in this. I think the great trade is this right here. I think that's the meat of the trade. That's what I'd be attempting to catch. If you want to take the white zone, it's fine. I'll be doing it on reduced trade size. Can't put it any simpler than that. I put out the zones. Really very, very straightforward. It's very important. Small accounts and inexperienced traders blow up in this environment. Everyone thinks you can make $1 majillion in this, and they end up taking massive losses, right? I'd have a very steady hand and be very clear what you're looking for. Everything moves faster, and it is normal emotionally to have the market move faster under these circumstances, and your brain gets overloaded. Whereas before, just a couple of days ago, we were dealing with 2-point rotations, 5-point rotations in ES. You're dealing with 10 and 20 points. Be nice to yourself. Give yourself time to adjust, right? Because guys who are seasoned veterans know what to do here already, right? My goal and what I'm hoping is going to happen is that the range expansion stays, but the volatility of jumping from area to area. Right now, everyone's nervous because we've made a shift in personality in the market, right? But my goal is hopefully, and NQ, by the way, is just getting slaughtered here right before the open. Just so you know, like it's highly illiquid. Just be aware. It's highly illiquid from the open beforehand. If you can't tell, look at NQ right now. Here, this is in Sim. Hold on a second here. I want to show y'all something right out of the gate. So this is in Sim to make sure I don't click on anything nutty, right? Look how fast this thing is moving out of the gate. We were just at 63.40. That was a move that just took place in 2 minutes. This is going to be an illiquid move right out of the gate. I can tell you right now when we open, right, expect anything. I mean, I rarely see that much movement right before the open. People are very, very nervous right out of the gate, okay? So I'm just giving it the first half hour and let someone else get ripped, right? I'm going to keep this up there so everyone can see this because I want to point something out. This is the definition of an illiquid move. You can click on it. I don't know. Is there news out? Yeah, it dropped very, very fast. So I'm going to keep this up so I can show y'all what this looks like when it's illiquid. Watch, when we open, the chart won't be able to keep up. It'll freeze. I just know TradeStation well enough. They won't be able to keep it going, right? So I want nothing to do with that because my risk, right, is enormous. How about warning futures clients? Do not get killed with tight stops right out of the gate. Okay, so I'm going to be patient. There's the open. and it's locked up. I can't even get this off. See that dome? It should be adjusting automatically. It's not. It's just, that's a TradeStation issue. It's not even on me. There we go. No. Oh, I'm in sim. That's fine. No problem. Really? I didn't even place a order there. Okay. Cancel all. There we go. Okay, so this thing's moving so fast that my dome, and I have pretty powerful computers, it's just not processing the data fast enough, right? Be aware, people are very, very nervous right now, guys. And it is not the great opportunity you think it is. If you're a good trader, you should be able to make okay, so we've gone from no volatility to uber high volatility, right? What we want is something in the middle. So now when we open up, right, think about the institution, and if you're a market maker, right? The dome gets thin because if you're a market maker, right, ranges have expanded. Market makers are not trying to catch swings. They're not even trying to catch profitable trades. They are betting. They have algorithms that tell them what they're likely to be able to get, and they measure risk all day long, right? They know what their books come on and come off of. When markets get more volatile, you know what they do? They thin the bid so that they don't get run over like this. We just ran 28 to 40 in 1 minute, right? They don't want to get run over. And think, if you were a market maker, your only job is to provide liquidity and take a couple of ticks off of each trade, right? A little penny here, a little penny there, it all adds up in the millions, right? But if you go, my gosh, if I can take the trade and be down 10 points in under a minute, right, before the computer can kick me out of the position, what am I going to do? I'm going to pull back my offering, right? Let's go look at ES and see what it's doing. Right? Look how these markets are completely opposite. ES pushing straight up. NQ ripped, just did a 20-point round trip. See that? That makes it very hard on the market makers. Additionally, have they voted? Because this thing's ripping like a vote has come out. Okay? So I'm cautious when this occurs, and I can afford to wait very, very patiently in a situation like this, right? So it'll settle down. You'll see it settle down. But look at the bid size. See how we're getting 90, 80, 100, right? Normally when this is healthy, you're seeing 500, 600 on the bid, right? You're seeing back here in the thousands. Notice this is at 500, 600. The biggest ask I see in this dome is at 900. Normally you'll see 1,300, 1,400 as we're backing up. The reason why is the market makers are backing away. Guys who trade, right? JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all the big firms that make markets, BlackRock, they're backing away. See how they're just now getting to 1,000? They're concerned. This just made a huge run. Look at NQ, right? I guarantee you someone thought, oh, it's short. I'm down $400 a contract, $500, $600 a contract in no time, right? See how that's moving? That's not normal, okay? So I don't want to be involved in a market like this where there's no clear liquidity, because I can be up or down massively in a heartbeat. I can't control my risk, and my stop runs get run. Fair enough? So that's my 2 cents. I hope that really, really helps. I'm going to stay patient this morning, see where the market goes. And, I mean, look at that move, right? From 63.24 straight up to 63.52. 30 points, right? $600 a car. If you're trading that, if you jumped on the wrong side of that, Lordy help you. Now, what we usually see is, wow, wouldn't that be great if I can catch it? Well, what would be, won't you think? I can't tell you how many bearish notes I got. I promise you, people shorted this going, oh my gosh, it's going to fall apart, right? We're into the white zone on ES, by the way. That is a valid location, okay? This is a valid location on this white zone, okay? You're having to trade in the first half hour. Yeah, there was nothing to go long against, Daniel. There's nothing to go long against, okay? Not now, thank you. Anyways, that's my 2 cents, guys. I hope that helps. I will talk to y'all in just a little bit. And thank y'all for joining us in the market preview. If you'd like to visit the room, send me an email, tradeandperform@gmail.com. I'll extend you a 5-day pass. Lots of really good learning, lots of great trades going on in there. Have a great day, guys.